Hi, friends. I'm Amol, and I hope that all of you are doing well and keeping safe. In the last episode of Lexpudent's podcast, we discussed provisions that govern different types of contingencies within a contingent contract. Now, in this episode of the podcast, I will discuss the difference between a wager and a contingent contract and also discuss a few important points around the real money gaming industry related contracts. Let us first start with understanding what do we mean by a wager and or a wagering contract. While the provisions of section 30 of the Indian Contract Act deal with the agreements by way of wager and term them as void and unenforceable, the term wager per se has not been defined under the act. So what do? We rely on the dictionary meaning of the term wager. And what does it mean as per dictionary meaning? A wager means something risked on an uncertain event, or to risk something, usually money or money's worth, on any uncertain event, essentially a bet. So, how does this wager differ from that of a contingent contract? Let us refresh the essential elements of a contingent contract as per the provisions of Section 31 of the Indian Contracts Act. We discussed it before in the first episode of this series. There are three essential elements to a contingent contract, and a contingent contract is a contract to do or not to do something if an event collateral to such contract happens or does not happen. Remember, I had insisted on the fact that in a contingent contract, the event needs to be a collateral event and not just any random event. The major difference between a contingent contract and a wager lies in this collateral event. Now, in case of a wager, the parties are one, not concerned or do not care about the actual event itself, but are only concerned with the outcome of that event. And they are only interested in the outcome of the event, which directly connects with them winning or losing the money or money's worth that they have staked on the outcome. Now, let us revisit the example of car insurance that we discussed in the first part of this series. The event of damage to the car is something that is collateral to the contract, and both parties are actually not interested in the happening of this event. The insurance cover is merely providing a risk cover or a protection against possible damages. It only is covering the damages, it's an indemnity and is not a profit generating event. So, the event of damage is something which is collateral in that contract, and therefore that's a contingent contract. Whereas in a wagering contract or an agreement where two people betting on winning or losing of a specific match in a sporting event are only interested in the outcome of that event and the money that they have staked on the outcome of their choosing. They do not have any control or play no role in that event itself. Now, let us carefully examine the contracts that are at play in a real money gaming platform. And for the record, I am considering only the skill predominant versions of such games where participants play using their own skills and which do not amount to betting or gambling under the laws of India. There are a couple of different contracts at play here, that is, in real money gaming. So let us understand this slightly deeply. Who are the parties involved in a real money gaming kind of a contract? And again, a disclaimer, we are not going too deep into the contracts. We are just taking the basic plain vanilla structure of these platforms. So what are the parties involved in a real money gaming platform? There is the platform itself that provides all the tools to play and participate, provides tabulation of points, publishes the leaderboard, publishes winners, declares winners, and distributes winning either directly or again through a third party, etc. And then there are those participants who are actually playing the game and using their skill to achieve a desired result or to win a game or a contest. Now, in such a simple real money gaming kind of a platform, what are the contracts at play? A, there's a contract between or among the participants or players to contribute towards the prize pool and let the winner take the prize money or money's worth. That's one contract. The second contract is a contract between the participant and the platform for providing services that I discussed just above, like tabulation, winner declaration, prize distribution, blah blah. Now, in the first contract, which is between or among the participants, there may sometimes arise arguments of whether this is a wagering agreement and whether it's an enforceable contract or not, because they are simply staking money or money's worth to win prizes, right? There may be that argument. But as I said before, in a wager, the participants or parties have no control over the event itself. Whereas in a game where users are using their skills to play, they are deeply interested and invested in the event itself and have control over all the acts. Remember, they have control over all the acts that they may be required to do to get a desired outcome. Whether they get a desired outcome or no is a different issue altogether. But all the acts that are required to be done in that game to achieve a desired outcome is within their control. And hence, these contracts, to my mind, are not wagering contracts. This is precisely the reason why various gambling laws categorically exclude game of skill from their respective ambit, because the participants are actually controlling the acts by which they can achieve a desired result. Now, the second contract is between the participant and the platform, as I said, which is more of a service provider agreement, unless the platform itself is participating, and all that we can discuss later. But in a simple contract, a platform is merely providing the services, and therefore it's a perfectly enforceable contract and has nothing to do with the wager. So the confusion that these are wagering platforms, these are unenforceable contracts, and all that, to my mind, are baseless confusions. A lot of time people do fall or do fail to segregate the types of contracts at play and just combine everything together, which creates confusions, misconceptions about these contracts. The simple test is to segregate the parties, segregate the transactions that are happening, and then see what contracts are at play and where. And you will get a sense of which one is wagering, which one is not wagering, which one is enforceable, which one is not enforceable, and so on and so forth. So, friends, I hope you liked the discussion in this episode. If you did, then I'm confident that you will be interested in a few other topics and personal points of view that I have and will share and discuss in the coming episodes on this podcast. So do visit and listen to the Lex Prudence podcast on your favorite podcast platform: Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Breaker, or Radio Public, to get my points of view on various legal topics and issues. And do also subscribe and share. And don't forget to share your feedbacks with me. Have a great day and take good care of yourself. Goodbye.